So as I said, integrations are really important, and I just want to bring that up again because this is a visual that we use across our communication now, where we have these 4 steps. Step 1 is capture. You can check out our MLX, the VLX, amazing devices to capture, really good point cloud data, really good panos, but very quickly as well. You then process it in IVION processing, and then all the data gets put into the IVION platform that comes in different flavors, including IVION Go, our mobile application. And then once it's there, then after that you integrate with other software packages, and that's what we are going to be talking about today. So as I said, what we're trying to achieve is that we always try to listen to our customers, and we're listening to customer pain points. And the API, what we do with the API is the same thing. So we're trying to see what is the customer pain point, and then an API. We try to build an API that addresses that pain point. The first pain point we hear a lot is that file-based point cloud data management is inefficient. So our customers struggle with the fact that they have lots and lots of data, but in thousands, hundreds of files. They're trying to somehow keep track of them, somehow make sure that they're refreshed, and that's really tricky. So, and then sort of be able to use the right file from the right timestamp or a combination of files in then Revit, for example, to create a BIM model. And so one thing that we use to address that pain is our point streaming API. Because what that does is it actually gives you on-demand access to the latest accurate as-is data at scale. So you can basically stream the point cloud data from IVION down into your application. The second pain point we hear about is the fact that building your own scalable, immersive, interactive 3D experience is actually quite difficult. So customers are struggling to actually make, whenever they have assets that they manage. And one thing that you can do is you can use the REST API and the front-end API to actually embed IVION really easily into your own applications and actually customize it completely to your liking. Listen to events that are happening, remote control movement, whatever you want to do, it's probably in the API. And then the last pain point we hear a lot is the fact that tablet and phone-based apps field apps don't have positioning. So what we're hearing from our customers is that they're struggling with apps that they want their field services people to use. Say someone is on the construction side, or someone is actually a facility manager, is on site, someone for a company that manages, say, 100 different facilities, and they don't know where that person is, or that person can't actually position themselves. So what we have is what's called a visual positioning API, which allows you to just take a photograph, 1 or 2 photographs, send it to our API, and it sends you back exactly where you are. It sends you the position of your phone and the orientation, and then from there onwards, you can build your own applications, AR Kit, AR Core, etc. And it's something that is super scalable and comes straight out of the box. So you don't need Bluetooth beacons, you don't need Wi-Fi infrastructure, you just scan, and then this pops out of the box. So these are really the three big pain points that we're seeing, and these are the 3 parts of the API that address these pain points. Now, for customers working with IVION integrated software, then what we do is we provide the foundations. So there are these as-is conditions in the field, in the real world, and then you have MLX, IVION processing, VLX, that generate that sort of first basis, that foundation. And on top of that, you have IVION, and IVION has great features by itself. Yes, you have collaboration, you have measurement, you have model import, etc. But on top of that, once you complete it with all of these partner applications, you have all these workflows that open up, be it scan to BIM, topographic service, construction management, and so forth. And as I said at the beginning, because we are growing and we're very lucky to have a lot of great customers and scanning lots and lots and lots and lots of data, we end up having the privilege of being introduced to or being contacted by a lot of software companies that actually see, oh, well, there's so much data now in IVION, I want to have a piece of that and actually build something. So if that's what you want to do, then you're great. You're absolutely in the right place, and please get in touch. So how are companies then integrating with IVION? So just to give you an overview of kind of the main companies we work with, that's not an exhaustive list, but you probably are aware of a lot of them, especially the ones that are sort of in the partnership bubble, but also the collaborations that go beyond that. So you probably have seen, there's PointCab, ClearEdge, and so forth, Autodesk, of course. These are all companies that we work very tightly with, and you can probably visit their booths here at INTERGEO as well. And so what I'd like to do now is to show you how we've worked with some of these companies to come from a end-to-end workflow where we have still inefficiencies, manual steps, to then use the API or different parts of the API to make it automated and scalable. So the first example is for scan to BIM. So the normal process for scan to BIM that we see is you scan with NavVis MLX or VLX. You then process the data in IVION processing. And then you have a feature called crop and download, which allows you to bring the data down to your desktop application. And then oftentimes you use third-party software to do semi-automatic, or in some cases still manual feature extraction, details extraction, and then you create 2D floor plans or 3D BIM models in applications like PointCab or Revit. And so our data works in Revit, it works in PointCab, it works in Aviva 3D, it works in Preview 3D, they're around the corner. This is actually with MLX data, or in companies like Visas. So big and small companies import our data and do amazing things with it. So, but the problem here is that you have this efficient point on downloading data and then importing it into a tool. So this is where one of the pieces of API comes in, the point streaming API. Because what that allows you to do is to efficiently grab data from IVION directly, authenticate against it, grab the data, and bring it down, and only the portion that you need. And that's something that we're working on with a couple of partners, and hopefully we'll be able to show a couple of interesting things soon. But if this is something that is interesting for you as well, please get in touch. The second example I want to show is construction management. So this includes things like issue management. You are on a construction site, you see a problem, you actually want to point it out to someone. And there are tools out there that allow you to do that. One of them is Autodesk Construction Cloud. And so one of the use cases, and so one of the workflows that our customers have been using and sort of constructing themselves is they're using IVION, they have the scan data there, they process it, and then they start using our points of interest feature to highlight issues. They will then visually explore them, share them with other people, decide what to do about that particular issue, and then sometimes create deep links from the point of interest and put it in the description and link to an issue, say in Autodesk Construction Cloud. Now, you can imagine that that is actually pretty inefficient. So that's a manual connection that is inefficient. So what we've done is actually we've created a connector between IVION and ACC that allows you to actually sync the two worlds all the time. And this is in beta, and we've been using our REST and front-end API to make that work. So I'm just going to show you a quick video. Again, this is in beta, but if you're interested, please let us know. And if you want to test it out. So essentially what you do is you sync a site in IVION with a project in ACC. And then, as you can see here, at the moment you are in ACC in the BIM model view. You can create an issue there using the features in ACC. So for example, we're going to place one right there in the door frame. You can give it all kinds of descriptions and details. In this case, we're just going to put in measurement needed, I think. Exactly. And once that is done, you can then jump over to IVION, and then you move to the same place, and there's the issue now. It's in the same place, and you have all kinds of details now. You also have a link that links over to ACC, to exactly that issue again. But obviously, what someone probably did in ACC is here, he said, hey, I need a measurement. So what you saw now is they use the tool sets in IVION to measure, actually then export the measurement as a PDF, just add it to the POI, and what happens then is, because it's syncing with the ACC issue, it actually pushes that PDF over to ACC. ACC is an amazing document management system, and we don't pretend that IVION is. So we say, okay, how about all of that data gets over to ACC, and then when you jump over to ACC again, here they are. There's your issue. You can work with that, and all the details are there to jump back into IVION. All the descriptions, the changes that you made in the POI description is there as well, and the attachment at the bottom as well. So you can see that this measurement that was extracted and exported is now in ACC as well. Cool. And then final example, also using the front-end API, is actually something we've done with SAP. So asset management, facility management is something that I think I've heard a lot today, because people are not just interested in, quote unquote, dumb data of their space, but they actually know that there is a machine, and that machine has a maintenance schedule, and that machine was built by someone. So you need to know all this information. So what our customers who have both IVION and SAP started doing is actually use IVION, and as before, manually add deep links to these points of interest to, say, a certain machine, an asset in SAP. And as you can realize by now, it's the same problem again. It's inefficient because you do that manually. So what we've done is we worked with our friends and Osapiens to build a connection, a syncing connection between SAP and IVION. And what that does is whenever you create a POI of a certain type, it starts populating, it starts looking through SAP and actually pulls the right data out of SAP. So this is just one example of what that could look like. There's ways of customizing this, of course, but this is in a test environment, just data that comes out of SAP for this specific piece of machinery. The last example I want to show you is regarding Siemens. And if you're around for the whole of INTERGEO, I think on Thursday we have a presentation by our friends from Siemens, and Siemens have gone a little bit further than probably the normal person would. And what they've done is they've actually integrated IVION into their Building X solution. So Building X is a product that Siemens sells to building owners and operators, and IVION is a core component of that application. So again, if you feel like you have a great idea and you just need this 3D experience that is fed with amazing data, just let us know, and then you can embed it and customize it to your needs. Great. So how can you build stuff yourselves? It's actually super easy, assuming that you have a little bit of web development knowledge. So the first thing you can do is just go to knowledge.navvis.com, which is our portal for all the information you need. All you have to do is scroll down a little bit. Then you'll see this part of the documentation, NavVis IVION API. Just click on that, and then you'll get to documentation with examples, etc. And if you want to go really hardcore and already want to do, you just want to do all the web services, you want to see what kind of post and get functions they have, you just go up here, API documentation, and then you get to Swagger Hub, where we always publish our API information. So to sum up again, we really try to make integrations a key component of the value proposition, because we strongly believe in the fact that at the end of the day, only an end-to-end workflow that is super seamless for our customers will add value. And the way that we try to do that is by having an API that gives you kind of all of the flexibility that you need, and that is super powerful. So if you want to check it out yourself, then you can either sign up to our newsletter or to our release notes, or note down my email address, send me an email, and then I'm happy to connect you with the right people, or start a conversation with you. Great. Thank you very much. And now, if you have any questions, please feel free.